So, welcome to from the Field, Voices of Football, where we celebrate the passion, perseverance, and stories behind the world's most beloved sport. Join us each week as we sit down with soccer legends, coaches, and insiders to uncover the untold tales of triumph and resilience on and off the pitch. In our debut episode, we're thrilled to welcome Coach Eddie Lett to the show. Coach Lett, the mastermind behind two consecutive championship victories in Texas, shares his remarkable journey in his own words. From facing doubters and naysayers to forging a path to glory through unwavering determination, Coach Lett's story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of soccer. Get ready for an inspiring conversation that will leave you cheering for more on Front of the Field, Voices of Football. So thank you, Coach Eddie. Thank you for being here. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Hi.
Uh, so can you tell us about you? Tell us about your background. A little bit
Yes,
about your
yeah,
background.
absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah. So, I actually grew up as a military brat. I was born in San Francisco, California. My dad served for 25 years in the military. So I actually started playing soccer in Germany when I was 5 years old in
Okay.
Heidelberg and Frankfurt, Germany. From there, right, we moved back to the States in
Okay.
Little Rock, Arkansas, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I played soccer for the military base. Yeah, and I got really
Okay.
exposed. Yeah, so it was very diverse culture there. And then from there, um, I moved back to San Antonio, Texas, and that's where I really found a passion for soccer. Um, from there, I went to Ronald Reagan High School in San Antonio, which is like a 6A powerhouse, and we won state in 2002 and as a sophomore in high school. And then from there, I played club soccer
Okay.
for three big cities. I know San Antonio Hammers,
Okay.
the Houston Texans, and the Austin Capitals.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, so club soccer is very big in South Texas. I can't stress that enough how big it is. It's actually growing now to like Lone Star, Classic Elite, Westlake, Lake Travis now. But I actually got exposed actually playing high school soccer actually out of all the
Okay.
clubs. I actually got exposed to high school soccer my senior year. Um, at the University of Midwestern State University, which is a D2 school in Wichita Falls, Texas.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and that school is a powerhouse. They win conference championships. When I was there in 05 to 09, we uh, we went to the Final Four in Orange Beach, Alabama, lost to Franklin Pierce, a New Hampshire school. And then we lost to in my senior year, we lost to the Elite Eight school in LA. But that was just a remarkable experience of getting exposure from high school,
Right.
getting
Right.
a free ride to play like college soccer, right? Like the
Right.
passion that you love. And I wasn't the best, right? I was just fast. I just showed a lot of tenacity, a lot of courage.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
have
Of
the
course.
best
Okay.
skill. I did not have a left foot, to tell you the truth. I didn't have a left foot. I just just worked really hard. And yeah, showed that. And then from there, I played a little bit semi-pro at the DFW Tornadoes. And then from there, I started coaching. Yes, sir.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So there's a lot here to dissect a little bit. So you started in Germany, right? That's where you first got into it.
I did. Yes. Five to 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
yes, sir. Yeah, Heidelberg in Frankfurt, Germany. All I do remember that it was really cold and it snowed a lot.
Okay. So what's your favorite memory of playing soccer? Because you did play for a while.
Yeah, out of like all that, like my best favorite memory.
Yeah. 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 Of course.
Oh man, I have a lot. Gosh, it would have to be winning my state title in 2002 in San Antonio. I had a 6A program under my head coach Walter Rule. Um, we okay, so I was a sophomore in the state program. We had about 25 seniors, and I was a
Okay.
sophomore. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually started. Actually, I started a little bit, but I came off the bench.
Okay.
Um, but the best like version of that was that we went 25-0-3. I remember that specifically. We went 25-0-3. We were right in the nation. Um, it was just like beating, what was it? We went like 6-0 in the, of course, in the playoffs. But I remember specifically the state game where we were down 0-1, and then we tied it 1-1, and then we scored, they scored, and then we scored in the last like 20 seconds. And just like that, I don't know, like that feeling that you'll never ever get again was just like so historical, and like was so just it was just speechless on how like that remarkable that moment only lasts for 30
Right.
seconds, but I'm still talking about it today, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so I think I overall, even with my college days, like yeah, winning like conference championship, I just feel like that high school moment, bonding with the relationships with my high school buddies and the coach, was just like the pedigree of excellence.
Gotcha. Okay. So what does
Mhm.
that memory stand out for you a little bit more?
Yeah, so from now, so for that memory now, like right, it's like, so my coach, because of my head coach at San Antonio, that's like the rationale, the why that I am coaching now.
Okay.
So I bring his system, his discipline, his demeanor to my players now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like the why of like that moving forward.
Okay. So I'm assuming you kind of answered this one, but I want to ask it again. Was he your inspiration to become a soccer coach?
Yeah, he really was. Yeah, so like he really was the reason why I want to become a head soccer coach. He just, I mean, like I said, like I didn't know like what I want to do, right? Like after high school, right? But
Right. Okay. Yeah.
when he was coaching me for 4 years, he was just like his like I just want to know about his system, like the way he coached, the way he really cared about us, the way like his relationship was with us, um, and like his philosophy like really stuck with me. So I was just like, you know what? Like I want to do what he does. Like with coaching, it's like a chess match, right? Like I'm
Yep.
all
Yep.
about competition. I'm all about, you know what, like it's like it's like the coach versus the other coach, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And I'm just like, you know what? Like I love that competition. I love that. I love that. And you know what? I want to coach. I want to teach my players my system to go against other players, or other
Right.
coaches, excuse me, right? And then, you know, and yeah, and just figure that out. Yeah, just like other dances. Yeah, so
No, it's um a lot of coaches, they do have an impact in our lives,
for
No,
sure. Oh yeah, for
because
sure. He
I remember
was.
like one time one coach made a comment about me, and I still remember it up to this day. It was a good comment, and we have that impact on kids. So that's
Absolutely,
why.
yeah, and he did, yeah, and he did, and maybe we'll talk about it later. But I actually coached against him this
Oh,
last year.
oh, did you really?
Yeah, I'll talk about like our season back in August, and it was a big deal, and yeah, he called me up and it was like, hey, come down. So he actually coaches at San Antonio Central Catholic
Okay.
High School in San Antonio, and he was like, hey, get your team here. I would love to play you. I was like, great. So
Yeah.
that
Yep.
next day, guess what? I told my players, like, hey, players, guess what? Um, my head coach, my high school coach, that inspired me to be a head coach. We're gonna play against them Friday night. It was like in November,
Okay.
and I told my players like, hey, this is kind of personal.
Right.
Kind of like the Deion Sanders, like, hey, this is personal,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
And I told my players that, and my players were all excited. They were legit. They were like, oh, let's go. And again, this is back in November. Our season doesn't start until like January, February.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah, so we go to San Antonio, we hug, oh my God, I can't believe we're coaching against each other. And then he he lied. He beat me 5-1.
Oh wow. Okay.
He destroyed me up and down. He did not let he wasn't nice to me at all. And I still give him, I'm just like, wow. It's like, dude, like I play for you. I want to say title for you. Right. And he
Right.
comes around and beats me 5-1. I'm just like, oh, he he out technical, tactical,
Everything, pretty
um,
much. Yeah, yeah.
everything. He was five moves ahead of me. It was kind of an eye opening. It's like, wow, like am like, start pointing fingers. Like, am I really a good coach or am I not?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
start
yeah.
pointing fingers.
Yeah, well, every time we lose, we have that little. Am I really that good? The good of a coach? The doubt.
Yes.
It's scary to get that in your head because then you start getting
It's
losses and loss after loss. Like, oh man, am I really that good?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that was our very first game of the year too.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
right. So like, so I kind of put my players in the fire. I didn't really know the formation. Like, I believe I ran a 4-2-3-1 or like a 4-4-2 basic, right? Like
Right.
a
Okay.
little bit. But he just came out with like a 4-3-3, two attacking mids, flanks running up and down the right
He was
back.
ready for you.
Yeah, and my players were just like, and we travel a little bit, right? That had something to do with it, but yeah. So, but I believe that's why we play games because I watched that tape and I dissect it of
Okay.
like different sections of like, okay, this is what we got to work on.
Okay.
And I believe that's what we needed because in December we played one of the best teams in Texas, a 6A school in Dripping Springs, and we tied them 1-1
Okay.
after that. And from there, I believe that's was like a great cohesion of our system and of our players' chemistry. And then that's where we were like, okay, like we're ready to go for the season. So it's always good to like schedule games that our teams are better than you.
Right.
Why? Well, because number one, you're learning, right? Number two, um, the reason why you play those games is so you can compete with the best, right? I mean, that's
Of
why we're
course. Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's why, and I keep telling my players that, it's like, hey, um, I scheduled these games. Why? It's because, so we can play the best of the best in Texas, so we can get, um, a degree of like what that level is, so we can get to that level. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Before that the season starts, you want to have those tough matches.
that's oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I know we've been talking about that you coach for your high school, right? How long have you
Yes,
been
sir.
coaching overall?
Good question. Okay, so after I graduated at Midwestern State in '09, I did some like camps and I was really dedicated to the coaching. So I actually went back to San Antonio, Texas in
Okay.
'09. So I started in '09
Oh, okay.
with club soccer. So guess what? I was under Brian Monahan, who's like one of the best directors in South Texas. He's like, "You really want to coach?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He gave me a U8 girls team.
Okay.
He was like, you know what? If you really want to coach, I was like, I do. And I played for him. He's like, you have a U8 girls team. If you can last 6 months to a year, then I know that you're dedicated to coaching. So I was like, I'm telling my friends, I was like, dude, I'm not coaching U8 girls team. There's absolutely no way. Like, and, I'm coming from a college level, high intense,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, and I did it, and it was probably one of the best like things that ever happened to me. Just for like building relationships to understanding the game. So,
Okay.
right, yeah. So I'm glad he did that. Yeah. So I did that, um, till 2016. I did 2 years of uh student teaching at special education at a high school at 6A. Um, and then from 2016, I moved to Austin, Texas, where I started my high school journey here. And then I actually coached 3 or 4 years at Austin FC Westlake for about three or
Okay.
four years. So in total, I started in '09. Yeah. And
Oh
then till
wow.
in
Okay.
present till 2024. Yes, sir. Yep.
So and when have you been coaching at your current? Because that's the college, the high school that you made. Um, do you won the title twice, right? Back to back.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So, um, going back, so I moved to Austin from San Antonio 2016. I got the head coaching job at Kip Austin Collegiate at 2018. Yep.
Okay. So you've been there for
2017,
what,
2018 season.
almost 7 years
Yep.
now?
Yes, sir. Yep. Yep. Um, yep. So 2017, 2018, yep. I got the head coaching job. And oh man, what a journey it has been since day one there. Yep.
So I know you mentioned that you won 2 titles with them, right? But before that, had they won titles?
Yeah, so they actually won back in 2015.
Okay, so 3 years before you
Okay.
got there, they had.
They had one, correct. Yes, sir. So they had one in 2015. And then when I got there, the head coach left. And then the AD, so I actually started teaching like special ed there. And the AD was like, hey, I see your background that you played at Midwestern State, collegiate. I saw your resume. He was like, you don't have to interview. I want you as a head coach. I
Okay.
was like, okay, fair. I was like, all right. Um, you know, so let me go back. So KIP stands for Knowledge is a Power Program.
Okay.
Is a network of public charter schools that in the United States. I think it was founded in like 1994. We just provide really quality education there. We prep students of underserved communities and success in college and in life. That's like what KIP is all about.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
about 58 schools nationwide. Um, yeah, and like we just develop character, excellence, and college readiness. So I was all
Okay.
about that mission. Okay.
Right. Right. Yep.
I really want to stamp that, right? So I was all about the mission. So when I got the head job, I'll tell you this right now. The first practice, about 80% of the kids were failing, right? Um, so as a head coach, right? The number one thing that you really need to stamp is discipline, your philosophy, right?
Hmm.
And what is your why? Okay. So the first practice, right? Like 80% were failing, and I just told them to run. Okay. I got cussed out. I got cussed at by like 3 different players. No, I'm not making this up. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm just like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? Yeah, it's like, F you, you know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, okay. Like, I took that I was like, okay, great. Like, I love the challenge. You know what? You're going to talk like to me. Okay, guess what? I'm going to make you a champion. I turn that to a negative to a positive. Like, you know what? You're here for a reason. And um, I don't care like what about your background, your character, but yeah. So that was yeah. So like imagine day one, like walking to the wolves, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I showed a lot of grit, I think. For the past 7 years, 8 years, right? So that season we lost in the state semis actually,
Oh wow. Okay.
3-2. Yeah, we made it all the way. Like we got, together a little bit, right? We lost 3-2. And then that next year, I told him about what is my why? Like, why am I coaching soccer? Right.
Okay. Yep.
Because I started to notice I like, all right, so I was coaching at like Casagali Westlake, right? A very different diversity culture.
Hmm.
Okay. When I walked in here, right, we have a lot of cultures here that don't have dads, that don't that live on like a little bit of poverty, a little bit, right? They don't have much. And I really took that to heart. I was like, you know what? As a coach, right, it's like, okay, are we here to win games, or are we here to develop human beings as good dads and like good human beings, right?
Right. Right.
So the first year, right, I wanted to win games, as coaches do, right? Like we want to win games, correct? Right?
Right. Of course.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, hey, I want the 100 wins, right? Like I want that, right? Um, but after that first year, I was like, dude, like I'm not here about wins. Like I saw like this culture. I was like, dude, they really need me and like my assistant coaches and my AD and my principal. And so I told him like my why was just really to develop player development.
Okay.
Like, right? It's like really hit player development and really hit your discipline and really hit that that pedigree of like student athletes, right? Like
Hmm.
education, right? And dude, have them graduate, right? Get that diploma, get them set up for success moving forward, um, in the long run.
So
So
it kind of sounds like you were not just looking at the person as a player, but more than that, as a person as well as human being, developing that.
yes, yes, sir, absolutely, right. And like, but that first 2 years, I was all about winning. I wanted that state championship. So, I'm kind of bad at it, right? Like students were skipping, and I should have disciplined them, but I didn't because, hey, you know what? You're starting because you're really good,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So like, I actually learned a lot because, hey, you know what? These kids are skipping, but they're my top forward, my top defender, and my goalkeeper, right?
Hmm.
I'm like, hey, you know what? Say sorry later and play. And then I just realized I was like, wait a second, that's not what coaching is all about, right?
Right, right.
It's like, like everyone keeps telling me, it's like, why, so I've been in for like what 7, 8 years. It's like, how do you win all these games and win like back-to-back state championships, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have a really good game plan. I have a really good practice plans, like defenders, midfielders, forwards. I'm really organized, but it's all about mindset.
Okay.
If you really want to, like, like younger coaches now, or if you're coaching now, it's all about mindset, with yourself and with your players. And that goes a long way to a professional level. That I learned about is all about mindset and how you run your program, um, um, moving forward. And like, my philosophy was, mediocre people don't like successful people. It's crazy. Like, and successful people don't like mediocre people. So who are you going to take on the bus to practice? Who are you going to take the players to games? Because when you coach, you don't want to coach about like the bad people, or like, the disciplined people. Like, you want players that are willing to really work for you,
Right.
and
Of course.
really
Yeah. Yep.
like, and really want that passion. And oh my gosh, right? I've been there for 7, 8 years, right? And I have 4 titles under my belt,
Four
over
titles.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 titles, and then we went back to back. Yeah, so yes, sir. Yeah, it's been a journey, man. It's yeah, it's a
So
lot.
how do you stay motivated and inspire
Ooh.
yourself, as a coach and your players to keep going,
Yeah, great question.
especially like at those times where it's tough, like you said, at the beginning it was a little tough. How do you stay motivated and keep inspiring yourself to keep going as well as your players?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that coaching is hard, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yep.
coaching is really hard. It's like, it's a successful track record. Um, it's just really, it's like building that relationship. For me, it was really hard, because the first like year or two of coaching, like, nobody were like really want to talk to me. I had, and plus you're teaching too, right?
Right,
On
right.
top of all this, I'm also an AP Human Geography teacher on top of this.
Oh
Um,
wow, okay.
yeah, so like, um, but like, it kind of goes like back to my why, right? It's just like, I really like we're here just to show community, really talk to like parents about like the struggles and emotional, about like the academic challenges for these students.
Okay.
um yes, like, I used to go back to that, right? It's just, what can we do to really help them, like, have the tools to be successful, build like powerful. And like, I think like our, like my high school kid, Austin Collegiate, it's just like, we have a really good community that really supports us with that. And what's really also hard, right? I want to stamp this, is you need a good field, correct?
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah, of
Right?
course, yeah.
You need good resources, you need a good field, right? So so at Austin Collegiate, right? Our field, so get this, okay? We are 80 yards by 40 yards. So
Oh
we're 80
wow.
yards like
Hmm.
width by length. So we're 80 by 40, and we're pretty much on a cow pasture.
Oh wow. Okay.
So think about that mindset right now, okay?
Yep.
So you're like, how do you win 2 state championships with 80 by 40 yards? So I don't even have a full field. We have about what, 40, we have like 35 players in the program with varsity and JV, right?
How many?
Um, we have 35 total.
Oh, okay. So that's not even enough for that you have a team and a
Or,
half, right?
or up to 40, yeah. So we have,
Okay, so
I think
40.
about 20, I think about 20, 25.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, or actually, I think about 22 actually, right, on varsity, and then
Yeah.
so with charter, we can do a lot. Like I do a lot of varsity JV back and forth.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, like a little dynamic. Yeah, it's a little different than public schools like UIL. Um, we have a little leniency that we can pretty much, develop players that way. But yeah, so so we have a field, right? That's on a cow pasture, but we make it work. And I've been there for 7 years, right? Or eight, yeah, and it's still the same thing. And we, I don't know, we fundraise, we try to help our players out, just like the way and like our home games, we have to play at another sister school for KIP, like 4 or 5 miles away. Like we can't play home games at our pitch.
You cannot.
No, because of
Oh,
the I mean it's 80
wow.
by 40 yards. Like it's like
Oh, that's completely the
yeah.
whole field.
I'm sorry.
I said that's like the whole field. I thought that was just like where you guys practice.
Yeah, yeah, that's where we practice. Yeah, but the game, yeah, our game is like 100 by 70. Yeah, we're good there, like 110 by 70.
Okay, okay, okay.
Um, yeah, but it's just so hard, right? Because like we go to practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have elite players, right, that play club. So like I'm the coach, so like I have to get you ready to play on this field. So
Yeah.
how am I going to do that,
Right, right.
right? So like again, that goes back to my story about mindset, right? It's like, hey, you're here for a reason. So I have to hype you up every single day, every single game. Why we're here, like we're here to win state championship, right? So it's just like boom. It's like is and as a coach, man, like you're everything. You're a trainer, um, you're a social worker, you're a
Yep,
coach,
yep.
teacher. I
Yeah, yeah,
love it.
therapist. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love what I do. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it seems that you're very passionate about it. So my question is, I know you're passionate, and how'd you get so passionate about this, about coaching? And because I know you also talk about, so let's just go with this first. How'd you get so passionate about coaching?
Yeah. Good question. You know what? I think it just goes back to with my dad being in the military and about showing discipline, and using that mindset and life skills to my players.
Okay,
Right. So that bottled me into a good person, right? But then I also was fortunate to have really good coaches.
okay,
Okay. With like I said, Walter Rule, and then my club coaches, and then Doug Elder as my collegiate coach. But those were the players that really fired me up. But coming to this school and just seeing like wow, like I work at low income schools, like I have a chance. I have the best job ever. Why? I get to empower
hmm,
students
yeah, yep, yeah, yeah,
every
yep.
single day. How awesome is that, right? And I think like that's the passion and like the coaching that I got from all my mentors throughout my whole life.
Okay,
Um, yeah, and just watching soccer and just playing soccer, right? Like I said, back in Germany, right? When I was 5 years old. And what I'm 38 now, right? And I'm still here. Um, and like I think that really helped me because I really want to be part of a team. I don't know if that's just like something that like I don't know how to say it, but like it's just like I really want to be part of a team that really helps me cope with like maybe like with my anxiety a little bit. Like I need to be part of a team. Maybe
okay,
is that like relationship, that bonding, right? It's just like um that just feels really good and like just being
okay.
part of that like camaraderie.
Right, right. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's understandable. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Did you always wanted to be a coach? I know.
No, you know what? Not gosh. I mean, so after high school, right? I got a full ride to play at Midwestern States. I thought I was gonna go pro, like playing, like
Okay,
semi-pro, and then after that, um, of course I didn't make it, So luckily, right, I tell my players this all the time. It's like, hey, make sure you fall off of the education because it's like the 2% tile that you're gonna be professional,
hmm,
right? Actually, going back, so I was reading this article. After high school, there's only 7% of collegiate players that are going to play college level after high school.
okay,
After college level, it's like a 1.12%, right?
Hmm.
Um, and that comes back to me. It's like, why am I coaching? It's like, why like I'm coaching? It's like, well, going back to that, it's like, well, I want to be part of a team. So how can I do that? Right. So kind of giving back to the community. It's like, I want to coach. Um, I want to show that discipline and see where it takes it, because I mean, yeah, we have good days and bad days. Like, is your drills really that good? Like, is your philosophy really that good? And it's like, when they go out there, it's like, it's on them, right? It's
Right,
like,
right.
okay. Yeah, it's like, so that kind of what comes down to it a little bit. Mhm.
My other question is, how'd you, because you said a lot about your mindset, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
how'd you get up to this point? Like, I don't know if that kind of makes
Um,
sense.
yeah. So going back, like I have like a lot of different principles, right? It's just I'm really big on Nick Saban. I've read a lot about his books. Nick Saban is the head, or he is retired. He was the Alabama uh football coach,
Okay.
and I read a lot about his books, and he just always talk about mindset. So I was like, what is mindset, right? So I just kind of talk about, all right, so he's not all about winning games. He's all about players really focusing on the objective and on the level that really drives like the vision, right? Like, so what is your vision, right? Like, what is like your goal in life? And that's why I tell my players about mindset, right? So I always tell them you need a vision. Okay.
Okay.
That vision can be, hey, um, or like a vision and a goal, right? So that goal can be climbing Mount Everest. That goal can be losing 10 pounds, right?
Right, right. Hmm.
Um, that goal can be anything, right? So it's like it takes you 2 or 3 days, right? Oh wow, like you're all about losing weight, right? But that 3 days, you're back to where you are.
Yeah.
So that mindset is about discipline.
Okay, okay.
So what is discipline, right? Well, discipline is doing what you're supposed to be told when, where, and how to do it, right? So that's why I always tell my players, hey, there's two types of disciplines. There is a discipline where you know that you're not supposed to do, are you not going to do it? Or there's discipline where you know that what you need to do, are you going to do that?
Okay.
Right? So there's two types of disciplines I teach my players all the time, and it really works. Um, and um, yeah, and like that's how you be successful, right? It's like there's two types of um disappointments. You're gonna be disappointed in life if you don't show discipline, and there's gonna be a really high level of hard work if you're gonna be disciplined every day to show that mindset.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's just like it's crazy, and like I say that to my players every day. It's um and I think that's why we're really successful. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it's just you know repetition. Hey, discipline, discipline. Hey, are you going to go to a party tonight, or are you going to focus on your schoolwork and stay at home, and listen to your mom and dad, and do the next good thing in life. And they're starting to stamp that at over where we are.
That's really cool. That's really amazing what you're doing. So it kind of seems like you don't just coach your players and as a player, but as well as the human side. Uh,
Yes, sir.
so that's very interesting. And like I said, as coach, we always have the impact in our players.
Mhm.
Um, I forgot the
Yeah,
question I was
man.
gonna
It's
ask already.
Yeah, it's and like I go back to it. It's like we have the best job. It's like yeah, it's a lot of hard work, right? Like our teacher coaching, but like you're there to develop. And when you see a player develop as a freshman to a senior, going to the University of Miami on a full ride, you're like,
Yeah.
boom, like you did your job. Next man up. It's like let's go, right?
So you previously mentioned that you tell your players to have the vision and that goal, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
winning back-to-back championships. did you have like a team talk before each season and
Hmm.
be like, hey, this is our vision, this is our goal, winning the state championship, or you just talk to them individually, you know?
Yeah. So okay. So we won this. We won our. So our league is called T-Stout, Texas Charter School Academy and Athletic League. So we won that, right? And I
Okay.
talked to all the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. I was like, hey, these seniors set the tone for you. Okay. No team has ever been back-to-back state champions ever in the
Oh
state of
wow.
Texas for charter league. Okay. For like
Okay.
our division, right?
Right, right.
So I'm like, seniors, you can leave a legacy, right? And go back to back. It has never been done before. So that was my motive. And I also used the motive of oh my gosh, Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens. He had a quote or a shirt that says, "Nobody cares, work harder."
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So he was like, nobody cares. So I used that. And I was like, hey, you know what? A, a lot of these teams, a lot of these coaches, right? They don't like you. Why? Number one, you want to say championship. Two, right? They want to beat you, right? So you have a big bullseye on your back. So, so I was like, you know what? Nobody cares that you want to say championship. Work harder next year. So I used that. I had that on my PowerPoint every day. And I just like, hey, nobody cares. Work harder. I don't care if you had a bad day. I don't care if you broke up with your girlfriend, right? I don't care if you had a bad, you failed your test, right? When you come to practice, it's we're here to work and we're here to get better. And like, what is your vision? What is your goal again? Like going back to my philosophy. And then that was my principle, just luring back to that. And like, yeah. And then um and also just like losing games like beforehand as well, like to like really good teams that teams that are better than us, because to keep them grounded a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so and then from there, I mean, man, they were it was a different type of team, man. We had a lot of good leaders as well. It's really hard to have good leaders because of the communication part. Um, but that's where we come in. And then this year we went 26-5-1 to finish up our back-to-back state championship. And yeah, in Austin, Texas. Yeah, so it was well worth it for sure. It was icing on the cake, going back to back. Peace
Yeah,
out.
that's amazing what you're doing with everything that you're
Mm.
sharing. It's makes it even more so much better winning back-to-back championships, you know, and that's just amazing, you know.
Yeah, and like I come back with like a high predator, like a high degree of like winning excellence, right? But these kids that they've never seen that before.
Okay.
Right. So like, yeah, like they don't know about the professionalism that I was bringing into them. It was just like go out and play. So I learned it's like, you know what? They know how to play. They're very good. I'm very diverse. I have kids from Honduras to
Hmm.
Mexico to United
Yep.
States. Um and I was like, like get this, like I was there for like, okay, they know how to play. Can I just polish like the Ferrari? Like l- let me get it like rims, right? Like let me polish it. Like let them let me get them disciplined, and then from there, like boom, like we set the tone all year, and we were a relentless competitor. That's another thing I stamped as well about being a relentless competitor all year long, going
Okay.
back to back. And like, what is a relentless competitor? I use the phrase of we all know who Freddy Krueger is, correct?
Right, right, yeah.
The 1980s, Halloween, right? But you can't get rid of him, right? He keeps coming
Hmm.
back and back and back. So guess what? I told my players, you guys are like Freddy Krueger. You guys are relentless competitors. You guys make teams quit. And dude, that's what they did all year long. That's why I programmed them, their mindset of like, hey, you're a relentless competitor. You have a great mindset. Dude, let's go out there and do it for the seniors, leave a legacy out there that no team has ever go back to back. And we just ride that all year long. And yeah, very amazing. Yeah.
So it seems like you're very infectious with your mindset, you know, and that's good. That's how you get your players to join your vision, you know.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I'm not the best like with like playing out of the back. I'm not the best of like possession drills, right?
Okay.
I'm just really good of technical work of like the wide passing drill, um, the set pieces, plays 5v5, 6v6, 3v2s, 2v1s, right? I have a lot of work to do of playing from the back. I'm very direct.
Okay.
Um, I'm like, I'm like, that's the truth. I'm very direct. I'm very, win the ball in the air, go to goal, play the third runner, cross and finish. Like, I'm pretty like, I'm not the, all the
Right, right,
tactics, just like I'm just like, hey, I have the players I have and we're going with it.
right.
So
I think it's
mhm.
like what you mentioned before, you know, your tenacity, your mindset, and
Mm.
it seems like you're very infectious and you inspire your players to keep going. And like I said, with everything you're telling me, it sounds even better than winning back-to-back titles. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was yeah, man. After that win, it was like well worth it because I don't know where this was going, with time and family, it's just like, and that's why I keep telling my players, like, hey, my wife is like 38 weeks pregnant, actually, as of to on Thursday.
Oh wow, okay.
And I keep telling my players, like, hey, like you guys are my family too.
Hmm.
So that helped out a lot, expressing like what family is all about as well, to stamp that mindset and to stamp
Okay.
my philosophy. So
That's cool. That's so how do you how do you approach tactical in or can you discuss your tactical approach to matches?
yeah, yeah. So we watch film.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Really good yeah, we watch film. Like I said, we have no resources. So thank you to my awesome assistant coach, Coach Avila. He runs our iPad and we have managers. We do our best. And we actually did a survey today, like reflecting on our season, and a lot of
Mhm.
players really want film sessions. So
Okay.
coaches out there, it's weird, but like if you do film sessions and call players out about your tactics, like what you want, it really works.
Okay.
Um, so I don't care if you're like a club coach, um,
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
a developed coach, or like a grassroots. I don't care. It's like, hey, really like watch film and like what are you really doing, right? And I do that a lot. We play a lot of long balls. Okay, my
Okay.
players saw that. Okay, so okay, which again, right? As coaches, right? We're still learning about education. I just kept the long ball going. Why? We're tall, we're big, and we're fast. Okay, so I just kept that going, the long ball, and I got a lot of feedback like, "Hey, Coach Lett, next time let's play out of the back." So that really hit me the heart. It's like, right, you're right. Like we gotta possess the ball more. We gotta do 1 and 2 touch, create those triangles in the midfield with our 6, 8s, and 10s, right? Or our 3, 11, and 7s, right? Like our out wide players, right? Um, so I need to do a better job of tactics of like, hey, how can I get better at playing out of the back? And that's why, like, as a coach, like I'm looking for resources for that at playing out of the
Okay.
back. Um, and he's keeping the ball, right? Instead of going long, long, and long, get
Hmm.
lucky, score a goal, right? And then
Yeah.
you know how that goes. Yeah, I'm sure you know how that goes. So um yeah, so that's and that's what I love about coaching. It's like the education doesn't stop, right?
Yeah. No. You're learning every day.
Dude, you're learning every day. I love that, right? It's like um, build out the back, playing 1 and 2 touch. How are you organizing your sessions with the field, right? And doing all that. Yeah, there's so much behind the scenes. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Who-
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing you have to do as a coach, or that you had to face as a coach?
Oh man, good question. What was the hardest thing I had to face as a coach? My first year or 2 years was about grades. Okay,
Okay.
hear me out. So their grade percentage was like a 20%, 30%. And I was just like, the way I was raised and the way I was coached is like, you don't like, if you don't pass, you don't play. Right. And
Hmm.
somehow this lead, and my new AD wasn't there at the time. And it was just kind of like, oh yeah, they can play, or like, it's for the kids. But I'm just like, but that's not the why. Like, why are they out there playing without, they're not passing their classes? So we started study hall, right? And I think the hardest part was getting this student athletes to pass classes, to go to classes, to be on time. So what I did 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. So we did study hall. I had players sit at the front of the classroom.
Okay.
I wrote an email to all their coaches or to all their teachers, like, hey, my soccer team, I sit on the roster. I was like, hey, you are sitting at the front of the row. I had to go into the classes to make sure they're participating. Um, and from there, this year we had like a 98.1 percentage passing rate for the past 3 years.
Okay.
Um, yes. And like I said, right, like this pro like you can't climb Mount Everest in one night, right? You can't
Of
build
course. Yeah.
a team in one night, right? So, and that's what I wanted, right? I was like, you know what? I want a championship team in 6 months. You can't do that, right? I mean, you can, right? But um, I just learned to like slow down, calm down, like get everything in order, and so forth. But like I think that was the hardest part, was getting students invested in the classroom, which is the why, right? And then if you pass that, you can go and play soccer, right? Graduate, be part of a great system, use that to your professional career or whatever you want to do, right? It's like so. Um, mhm. Yeah. I thought that was the hardest part of my job, which is getting these kids disciplined.
Right.
Very
Okay.
tough. Very, very tough.
I,
Um,
I'm assuming at the beginning,
mhm.
right? Because now everybody knows your program. You bought this.
Yeah, they do, right? It's like, okay, cool. Like Coach Lett, you won, your 4 championships. Great. But I have my 12 or 13 seniors that are leaving,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, I'm a junior, sophomore, freshman. They're still trying to figure me out, but then I have like 14, 13 freshmen coming in. They
Hmm.
have no idea about my coaching philosophy at all. Okay. So it's like, boom. Okay. So the first day of practice, I used to tell them, what is my why? Why am I here? Um, it's just to develop you, and it is going to be hard work. And I always say this, like, I am not criticizing you. Okay. I am yelling at you to make you better. Right. I think that a lot of coaches need to hear that, or like, I'm sorry, players need to hear that. Is that like when we yell at them, like they feel criticized? No,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
no, sir. No, that's not it, right? We are here to make you better, right? So you can show discipline, right? On and off the field, and then moving forward, right? And my biggest pet peeve, if coaches want to hear this, it's about body language. I
Okay.
cannot stand body language at all, right? For example, if you're not starting, I call it the poor me's. Me, like it's all about me. It's all about me. Why am I not starting, right? Like
Right.
why is this person starting, right? And if I see like or like a bad body language, when I go over the starting lineup, I'm like, all right, you're done. You're sitting down. Next person up, and they get even more mad. But I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm telling you right now, I used to not like your body language, and that's another thing that they're learning. Like, wow. So when I have my bench ready to go, they're standing up and they're cheering.
Okay.
And that's a big thing as well as a coach. It's like I have my 10 or 15, like my 12 bench players on the bench. They're standing up and they're cheering. They're not coaching, of course, right?
Right.
But I
Right.
just tell them every time, I'm like, hey, please cheer them on. Good play, bad play. Build that relationship, right? Build that like relationship with that. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot, but you know, it's great.
So how do you do it? Because you said that like the bench players are still cheering on. Is that because with your body language that you make a good team and a camaraderie?
Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah. So I want them to stand up, and it brings the energy. Like, think about it. When players are sitting down, right? They're just like they're watching the game, right? Sure, right? They're like, okay, cool. But if you're standing up, if you're clapping, if you're like engaged, I tell my players like, hey, watch your position, right?
Right, right.
Because I'm, as my coaching style, as you can probably, from this podcast, I'm very, I'm very passionate, right? I'm very
Yeah, yeah.
impulsive as well. So like, if a player makes 3 or 4 mistakes, I'm like, hey, next man's up. You're ready to go. Boom. So like, they know my coaching style because I tell my players, my bench players, and like again, it's a mindset. I tell them like before the game starts, like, hey, I need your job, like I need you guys ready to go because if they're not playing, you're up. So like I kind of give them that like mindset of like, hey, like
You gotta
you
be
can go in
ready.
anytime,
Okay.
right? So like you're not just like there. Like I always try to like keep that like one-on-one conversation. Like, hey, I might need you today. Hey, like I might need your speed, your size today. Just kind of keep that going because a lot of those players they do know they're not going in, but I always go there to like, hey, you know what? It could be your day today. I need you ready to go and ready to you go to battle. That's what I say on the pitch. Like, hey, you better go to battle today. If not, you're sitting down, next player up. And also about body language, college coaches and scouts, they see that,
Okay.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they need to know that. Okay. They need to know about body language from a scout perspective because if you make a bad play, if your shoulders are shrugged, or like if you lose the ball, and I hate this, right? And I'll tell you right now, a lot of players need to hear this. If you lose the ball, you better get the ball back. And so like instead of like walking and being lazy,
Okay.
right? You need
Yep. Mm-hmm.
you need if you lose that ball, you better get the ball back. I don't care if you're a forward. If you're a forward, like if you're 80 yards, like if like behind like 80 yards in your final third, you better sprint back to your final third and get that ball back, right? It's
Right, of
like
course. Yep.
that's why like we teach, right? It's like little things like that, right? Goes a long way. And is that easy to do? No, but um, but yeah, man, like that's the biggest thing. And like I learned that from the college level of the body language is like you need to be present. If you're all about me, then it's not going to work out for you. Like it's all about team, like moving forward. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no,
Yes.
that's very cool. I like that approach, um, having them stand up instead of just sitting down. That's what I actually do. That just have them sitting down. But yeah, I think that's very good. Gotta try that on my
I mean,
team as
it's
well.
different, right? Like every coach is different,
Hmm.
right? I mean, um, it's really cool because like if there's like if it's silent, right? But you have your team and your camaraderie, like cheering
Hmm.
them on, it brings a little bit more out of them. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
It really does. And I will never forget this. Another, I know, going back to like what was the hardest part of coaching?
Yep.
I had a referee tell me that my players couldn't stand up.
Who told you couldn't stand up?
So, um, it was um, it was a referee back in Houston. I'm not really going to go into depth, but like after coaching for a very long time, they told my players that you cannot stand up. You need to sit down.
Oh wow. Okay.
So my response was actually, sir, this was our game plan for a week. I told my players to stand up, to show excitement, to show tenacity, show courage, right? And they told me not like no, they need to sit down. So they're trying to get me off my game a little bit, right? I'm just like, wow, they really said that. I've never so I was like, you know what? That's fine. That's great. It's us against the world, right? Let's bring it on.
Hmm.
Let's go. Let's go to work. And that was it. I didn't make a big deal of it. I was like, it is what it is. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Yeah.
Did you end up winning that game?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
One
That's
zero.
even that's even better.
Yes. Yes. Yep. And with charter leagues too, right? It's like we play in 2 different leagues as well. Um, and that's another long conversation, but
Okay.
um, yeah, but yeah. So yeah, it was God, it was awesome. Like perseverance, right? It's like, hey, and they saw that too. The rest, like, they players knew that, like, Like they're with me for 20, like 30 games, and a referee tells them you need to sit down. Like I'm just like, I told the refs like, no, you need to stand up. I told my players, no, you stand up. And then we were going out a little bit, and I was like, whatever. Like it is what it is. I'm not going to argue about my players standing up or not. Like let's rock and roll. Let's play. Gosh, like it was yeah.
A little hectic there, a little bit.
Yeah, but it's good for the game, right?
Yeah, it inspires
Mm,
you again. It's us against the world. So that even tells
yeah,
your players like, hey, we're together.
yeah, it does, right? It's like like I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of players that didn't play all season, right? It's really tough to get them involved, right? And like at a professional level, I'll tell them three things. Um, and like every day I say these three things is there's three things that take no ability at all, right? Number one is effort, right? Effort. So I tell my players every single day, please bring effort, please bring your mindset, please bring that you are here, because a lot of these players actually, this is like the best thing ever is practice to them. Like
Okay.
this is why they come to school, right? This is why they get out of their house, to get out of their community. Sometimes it's like practice, right? So
Right,
number
right.
one is effort, right? I love number two is being mentally tough. How mentally tough can you be if you're not starting? Okay, work harder, right? Come to practice more, right? Come to me, ask me questions, right? Um, so two is mentally tough, and then three is be responsible to be able to do your job. Okay,
Okay.
be responsible to be able. Everybody here has a job. I have a job. You have a job,
Mhm.
right? My goalkeeper has a job. My managers have a job. And it's really good for you to like really determine who has a job or not. Like, what is your job? What is your goal? Every single game. And again, as a coach, if you have like 35 players, right, that's really tough to do,
Mhm.
right? And for you to be successful, you'll find a way to do it. And again, that's the reason why I became back-to-back state champions again. Was hey, stamping those three things: efforts, mental toughness, and just do your job.
Right. That,
And that,
yeah.
yeah, and and that, yeah, and again, man, it's and they'll buy into you when you build that relationship with them. Because I learned that going back in this podcast, my first year,
Mhm.
I try to bring that energy like what I'm doing now.
Right, right.
No, sir. That was like out the window. No relationship, no trust, no respect, nothing.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
how'd you? Again, my next question is, how'd you gain their trust, their respect?
Oh, oh man. Sitting them down and telling them like my why.
Okay.
Why am I here? Like, am I here for a paycheck? No. Why am I here? And I stress this like this like one of my first speeches every time, like every year. It's like my why is to develop student athletes with the great AD, the great principals that I work with, is showing you, getting you an opportunity to play on. Now I can say you're part of a four state championship program now, right? So I have a little
Okay.
leverage now, right? I'm like, hey,
Okay.
you're part of the elite of the elites,
Okay.
right? It's like, hey,
Hmm.
you're part of the like one of the best programs in the state of Texas for charter schools, right? You're here because number one, you're good, or like you showed a lot of tenacity. But now, it's like I am going to ride you. I am going to make sure that you are ready to go every single day with that mindset, like we've been talking about all night, and buying in to our
Okay.
system,
Right, right.
right? It's like buying into our system, and like the why was like, right, like player development, growth. I want to like, again, I keep saying this, right? It's like I don't want to like, yeah, like they see my Riker, like, yeah, we can win games here, but at the end of the day, can you walk or like cross that stage? Can you graduate? Can you become a good person, a good dad, and showcase my skills or like whatever I taught you, moving forward.
There's not
you
more than
know?
just the soccer player side, the person,
No.
the human
And
side as well.
right. And I thought it was. Remember, like my first, like I thought
Hmm.
it was. I thought it was all about soccer. It's all about tactics. It's all about playing out of the back or running the best drills. Like I said, like, oh, my student skipped 3 classes, but I starred him. Like
Right.
I learned so much from that my first year. Um, teaching at this, at a low income school, but I think that's what made me like I wanted the challenge. That's why I accepted school. Like I wanted that challenge. I wanted, you know what, really? You guys are doing this, great. Well, guess what? You know, you're on my
So
level now. You're on my time.
so it kind of seems like at first maybe you didn't have the principles you have today. That's why
Yep.
they also didn't trust you. I don't know if you
No,
see
they
it that
didn't.
way.
Oh, for sure not. No, they didn't. You know, um, hey coach, can I play? Or like, hey, I'm better than this player. Why is this player playing? There's a lot of pointing
Hmm.
fingers, a lot of like, what are you doing? Who are you? Why are you coaching? You
Right,
know,
right, yep.
I was just like, wow, like I've never like been part of that like ever before,
Okay,
as a
yeah.
coaches before. Like it was like, wow, I was like, wow, is this like what I really want to do?
Hmm.
you know? And then this always comes back to like grit, right? Like what is
Hmm.
grit, right? Grit is like keeping with your profession, challenging not for 1 year, not for two, but for 5 to 6, 7 years. Like, and that's why I teach my players like what grit is.
Okay.
Keep sticking with it. With all the challenges, all the perseverance, all the non-sayers, right?
Right, right.
It's like, dude, and like that's what I keep saying. I always do like it every time I write a message, I'm like, all right, boys, I'll see you at practice, tomorrow. Let hashtag grit every single message just to like stamp that mindset again. Like,
Right.
this is hard work. Like, this is like you have to earn it. And my boys earned it the past few years. They earned a state championship, which is really cool. A lot of players can't say that, right? It's like
Hmm.
they earned the two state championships. They earned to that legacy to walk around that stage with like that their medal and everything else. Pretty cool.
That's very cool. Like I said, I think it goes kind of with yourself, as a coach. As soon
Huh.
as you started having your own principles and your
It's
guidelines, that's when
yeah,
everybody started following you because it kind of seems like at first you were like, well, he's my best player. I'd rather have him play than this guy over here,
I
even though
did.
he
Oh,
skipped three
I did.
classes. You know, so you were inconsistent even, and that's
I
the
was
thing
very
with.
inconsistent. I was very inconsistent. Oh yeah, the whole time I was because it's my first year, high school. I'm like, dude, I want to go 30-0.
Right? Of course, yeah, yeah. Who
I
does it?
right. I was like, teacher emailing me, hey, this student skipped, this student did this. I'm like, he can run in practice. But now if they skip or if they like miss assignments,
Now
they
you're more
they won't.
disciplined, more.
Oh, they won't play. They won't play. They won't. Yeah, they won't play a game. Oh yeah, I'm very disciplined now. Very hard headed now. It's like, hey, if you're skipping, if you're being disrespectful to teachers, is my biggest thing. If they're so disrespectful to teachers, they will do 100 hills, 100 tire flips.
Oh
Um,
wow, okay.
oh yeah, yeah, that yes. Yeah, that hit me really hard. And it's awesome because I don't care if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. If you're a 4 year senior and you're skipping school or like being disrespectful to teachers,
Same thing.
oh yeah,
You
on the
should.
line. And I love it when like if they talk back, I call them out. It's like, hey, you know what? Say yes, sir, get it done, and move forward.
Right.
They want to talk back. They want to be like, oh, it wasn't me. It was my friend. I'm like, awesome, cool. I don't care. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's
But I
like
mean, after
cool.
7 years, you kind of start getting the hang of it now.
Yeah.
Compared
And
to.
like, yeah, and like I really want to encourage like younger coaches, like, hey, dude, it is a process, it's a journey, and you gotta love it.
Okay. So
Like,
there goes my next question. You've been doing this for 13 years now, I believe.
yes, sir.
What's your advice to someone that's just starting their career?
Yes. Oh man, like yeah, like picking back, yeah. But it's really Man, yeah. So it's really like really calming down and just like, hey, like I talk about, you can't climb Mount Everest on the first day.
Hmm.
Okay,
Of course.
you really need to focus on like your philosophy and your why, and
Okay.
building relationships and having that respect and trust. If you don't have that respect and trust that first couple weeks,
It's gonna be hard
mm-mm,
to do it.
it's very hard to do. And then, like I said earlier, right? It's like mediocre people don't like successful people.
Hmm.
It's awesome. Like you can see that. And like that goes from like 10-year-olds to like 12-year-olds too. Like you can kind of like determine like where that is. And then successful people don't like mediocre people, right? So you gotta
Yeah.
get the right people on your bus, right? And I understand with club, like you don't really have that opinion sometimes, or sometimes you do with recruiting. Um, but if you don't do that, it's gonna bite you in the butt. And that's what happened to me my first couple, like my first year, right?
Right.
So I encourage you, right? As like if you're just starting out, dude, have fun. Like you have to have a great like mindset of to have fun, have like be organized, right? And it's all about the players, right? So you have to build that camaraderie and that trust and that respect first.
Okay.
Once
Right.
you do, I think from there, um, you know, have the players, if the players are working hard for you, then you know you have them.
Okay.
Like stamp that, right? Like, are like really stamp that. If they're really listening to you about your pressure, working out the back, right? Um, and then if they're like, that's what I noticed when my second or third year, even
Yep.
like they weren't really listening, but like they really hit me hard where like, oh my God, they're really working hard for me. Like this is awesome. Like they're really working my philosophy. Like this is awesome. Like
Right.
and like as a coach, right? Like that's like a turn on. Like, oh my God, they are really like dissecting, everything else. And that feeling like when you win a state championship or like even have a good season, it's
Hmm.
like that's your satisfactory, right? It's like boom, done.
Yeah.
Can
So
you
I have
do it again? No.
my
Yeah.
question is, like you said, now they start following you. Do you give them something? Like, hey, we'll do a pizza party if you guys start doing this. Or we'll
Mm.
go out or do something. You guys can stay a little bit later. Something. Do you do that or not really?
Not not good question. Not really. It's high school, right? I know a lot of high school coaches do like team dinners.
Okay.
Like I don't really do that. The best thing I would do for incentive if we win a state championship, you get a ring,
Okay.
right? So think about
Hmm.
that. And at our school, your name is on a banner as well. So if you win a state championship, that's why I keep saying like legacy, right? Like your name is on the banner in the gym, so
Hmm.
everyone sees it, right? So like that's like my like influence. Like, hey, if you want to win a state championship, you get a ring and you get your name on the gym wall, right? So like, I mean
Okay.
that, yeah. So, and I do sometimes we do some team parties. Like we'll travel sometimes and like get together, but that's pretty much it. But I know a lot of coaches are really good with like team dinners, like having all the team together before a match and then
Hmm.
dipping off. Yeah, I've
Yeah, I
I've
know.
heard that.
I don't know if you watched
Right
the Premier League, but Leicester City back in like, like 2016, they won the Premier League.
when the yeah
Yeah, Coach Claudio, their coach, told them, if you guys start giving them goals, we'll have a clean sheet. We'll give you a pizza. Everybody gets their own pizza, and they started winning actually. So that's how they won their Premier
You know
League.
what? I
So
might okay. I might okay. I might write that down actually and like, you know, think about more tactics, right? Because hey, we're learning every day, right? So I
yeah, yeah,
might
exactly. Yeah. So we gotta start wrapping this down because we've been here for an hour. I know we
oh
still have a
okay.
lot to go, but
We do,
uh,
man. No, this is great.
so as you reflect on your coaching journey, what legacy do you hope to leave behind for your players and your soccer
Mm,
community?
good question. Um, ooh, let me think about this. Yeah, great question. Legacy, right?
Hmm.
Ooh, you know what? It's just I'm right. It's like and I'm not gonna be at kickboxing collegiate for the rest of my life, right?
Okay.
Um, the one thing that I do really want to like stamp, um, is my legacy there is be that all you can be every single day.
Okay.
Okay. Right. I think it's just like I think you like if you're listening, like if you like know like the story now, it's like, hey, I'm all about passion, I'm all about like glory, right? But if you can really showcase, be the all you can be every single day and work hard, good things will happen to you and do what you love. And like that's why I try to stress my players, like I do what I love. And I think they really do see that. And I keep telling them like, hey, I'm not here for the money. I'm not here for a paycheck, right? I'm here for you guys. I'm here for the camaraderie. I'm here for um like our relationships. And that's what I want to leave with my players is that like I'm here for you guys and I'll do whatever it takes for you guys to be successful and to set you up for success in the future moving forward.
Right.
So
Right. I think, like we mentioned before, the impact you have, in their lives, not just as a soccer player, but
yeah.
the human person, the human side as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, it's like, oh man. So as you know, I'm a girl dad, right?
Yep.
And I'm having my second daughter hopefully like next week, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a player called me, he's like, Coach Lett, you're getting a little soft. I was like, no, that's like the one thing you don't want to hear. Right? They're like, you don't want to hear that. Like, as I like I'm like, no, 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 no. So like I had to like, okay, no, like let's go back to work. There's like no more being soft. Let's go. Like, yeah, but like I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, one of my players called me out. I was like, you're being soft. I was like, dang it. No, like no, but yeah, but overall, yeah, I mean, coaches, you gotta love what you do because if you don't, it's not a profession for you moving forward.
Right, of course, yeah, yeah. Because I think you mentioned before, you gotta be a therapist and a friend, and you
The-
gotta be so many things for a coach, and besides just the coaching.
yes, sir. You have, oh man, you like it literally it starts from, why am I not playing? Why is this one playing? Your parents are calling you left and right.
Mm.
You're writing emails to teacher. Like it's just it's a lot. Like, because we're like a low income school, like we have no trainer. I'm the trainer, I'm the coach, social worker, like bring it on,
Yep, yep,
right? Like
yep.
love it, right? So mm-hmm. uh,
So I know you mentioned that you have a daughter, right? And another one coming. You also
yeah.
mentioned that you're not always gonna be here, okay? So what's next for you in your
Ooh,
coaching journey?
great question. So I think my next goal, right? So hopefully everything's successful, right? With the
Hmm.
pregnancy, and then I'm going to take a little break from June to September,
Okay.
right, for paternity leave, like and all that. I am going to come back to kickboxing. I want that back to back to back.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Okay.
I want that. Like I said, that brings that competitiveness in me. I
Hmm.
want that back to back, and then I want to try at the next level, which is like UIL. It's like a public school.
Okay.
Which is like the 6A, 5A's, 4A's. And I might you know, see where that will take me actually. I think I'm gonna, you know, go for the top of the top high school level, all that. And then maybe do a side of club soccer on the side. I know that's a lot with dealing with two girls and
Right.
the
Yeah.
family, but I mean, I'm very passionate what I do, and I definitely want to pursue that. So that's like next, the next adventure. I definitely
Okay.
want to pursue that public
You ever considered
school.
coaching your girls? I know you mentioned that you want to
You
do
know
club
what?
soccer. Have you ever considered that?
Yeah, yeah. So my oldest Presley, she'll be 3. She just turned 3. Um, we did like a hot shots like when she was 2 years old. It was chaos, right? Like the 2 year
Okay.
old just running around. And like, like I wasn't coaching. Like it was really good to just sit back and be like a spectator. It felt
Okay.
really good actually by doing that, by the way. But um, what? I haven't really thought about that. And like, if they want to play soccer, great. If they do,
Hmm.
I mean, I have a lot of, you know, different types of levels of like, hey, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if the opportunity comes, yeah, I'll definitely take it. And Austin is very competitive with soccer now with Austin FC joining here like 2 years ago. They
Uh-huh.
have an academy. Westlake has an academy, like Travis, Lone Star. Like there's like 4 or 5 great elite coaching program, and they're all very educated and licensed and everything. It's very high end over here. It's very competitive.
Oh wow. Yeah, soccer started to pick up a lot here in the United States overall. They're having the
Oh,
Copa
sure.
America with the
Yeah.
World Cup coming in 2 years.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like
Yeah.
you gotta go end up in a circle because you start with U8 girls. You might end up with the girls again, you know?
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. Tell you the truth, I don't know if I can do U8 girls again. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now, man. If I'll tell you right now, if you really want to coach, do a U8 girls team. I'll tell you right now, do it. And
Yeah.
if you hang on for a season or two, then you are crowned and then you can be successful with whatever journey you do. But I challenge coaches out there to do a U8 girls team and just hey, and like that really brings the fun out of you because what drills can you really do with them, right? It's like,
Hmm.
cool. Can you play out of the back? Can you do an overlap? No. Hey, let's pass 1 and 2 touch, right? It's all about trucks and minnows and other games and having fun and joy, right? And then that kind of actually helped me. It's like, wow, this is actually cool. But can you bring that to like different levels? And sure, you can,
Hmm.
absolutely, right?
Yeah, and then it's also hard to have them to listen to you more than a couple minutes, you know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like literally 1 or 2 minutes and squirrel, or like a
Yeah.
bird.
Oh, for sure.
They're like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
hey, bring it back. Hey, like, bring it back. Hey, let's do this, this, and this. But the parents are really supportive. That's so cool, right? To have like the good community and really have a good like fan coaching director as well. Um, that really goes a long way and like really helps like your education moving forward. Like what license do you really want to have moving forward?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, what kind of message do you want to, or piece of advice would you leave our listeners with as they continue their own coaching journey?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think I stamped this like 4 or 5
Hmm.
times, right?
Yeah.
Throughout tonight. But like, um, yeah, man. Coaches out there, yeah, just do what you love, right? And have a passion for it. There's gonna be so many good days and bad days, but um, like what kind of like perseverance are you gonna like leave yourself and the players um moving forward? Just have fun and really like do what you love and I really want to stamp those 3 things again um about players, about like teaching players about effort, mentally toughness, and I have a job. I can't stress that enough. If you do those 3 things, right? If players play with effort, if players have like a really like strong mental toughness, if they get hurt or like can they persevere that, and then make sure you have a job for them. Like, don't just let them sit on the bench, right? Just hey, your job is to do this. Hey, your job is to do this. You really have to stamp. Even parents as well, they have jobs too. I give parents jobs like, hey, your job is to cheer and don't coach because if you coach, oh dear
Hmm.
lord,
Yep.
um, oh my god, it's like please don't coach and like, but yeah, do that like in a nice harm way. But we do need really good coaches out there that are really there for the kids, right? And we need good education. We need the good USA soccer, right? Because the next, like I said, 2020 we have Copa, we
Hmm.
have the Confederation Cup in 2025, and then the World Cup,
Yep.
right? So we have like a 3 years of the high end soccer, and we have Messi right in our
Oh yeah,
backyard,
yeah.
right? It's
Hmm.
like I think this is like the now of like, hey, we gotta get coaches out there, we gotta get education out there, we got to get like our players out there, get organized, and let's let's rock, let's win a World Cup, right?
Oh, of course.
So
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. So yeah, passionate and enjoy what you do, what you love to do, right?
Yeah,
That's main
passionate, do
key.
what you do. I mean, um, and what's really like, if you're really gonna last, like, there are gonna be really hard days. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Are you going to pout and moan, or are you going to figure it out? Right? Like, dude, I like in club in high school, I've lost 5 zeros, 7 zeros, ten
Right.
zeros, even. Right? Oh, it brings you down, absolutely, right? But learn from it, right? It's like, okay, great, that happened. Move on. That's done. Be in the present, move forward, and figure it out on the next one. Um, yeah.
That's what I like about soccer. So many things, lessons you could get from soccer. You take them to life. There's losses in soccer, and they're gonna hurt. But that's same
Oh,
thing happens in life. And that's why I love about soccer.
oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Right. It's like, oh man, there's, yeah. I mean, I always take like losses and like life
Mhm.
lessons to my players, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just, oh man, there's been so many defeats, right? It's like, um, well, it was that commercial with Michael Jordan, right? It's like he has taken over 3,000 shots and miss,
Oh yeah, I
right?
see. Yeah, yeah.
Right? But because he missed, right? Because he failed so many times, that's why he succeeded. And I tell my players that as well.
Right.
It's like, hey, right? It's like, dude, like if you're not gonna shoot, you're not gonna score, right? And my players, dude, and a lot of players across the country, they get so discouraged of like, oh, they had a bad pass,
Hmm.
they had a bad shot, they missed an open net. Like, I'm like, hey, like seriously, get over it. Next play, move on, and do that. And I'm really good at coaching like that, like mindset and like that demeanor with players, with
Right.
player development. It's like, hey, like move on, it's okay. Like, but some players affects them. And then again, we talk about body language, right? They're down, they're pissed off, and then you got some of them out, next player on, and then so forth, so
Right.
forth. Yeah, yeah,
Where
no.
can listeners learn more about you?
Yeah. So, I'm not big on technology, right?
Okay.
I will I could have, yeah, so I don't have an Instagram, but I'll definitely please contact me with my email. I can put it in the chat, or I can tell you guys right now. Yeah, is that Edward EDWARD .Lett LETT at KIPP Texas.org. Like I said, I'm an AP Human Geography teacher and a varsity boys soccer coach. And yeah, please reach out to me. I'm here about soccer. If you need any help or any resources in history or soccer, right? We can kind
Right.
of talk about that, or like starting a new team, or like I'm really good at like building that cohesion of like, hey, like how do you start a new team? How do you get players to buy in, right?
Mhm.
Um, and really good PowerPoints as well. So yes, so please, I'll draw that in the chat as well, for you guys.
Yeah,
So
we'll put
yeah.
it on the show notes just so everybody can have it
Oh,
there. Okay.
yes,
Uh,
sir.
this is the last question. All right. Who are you if you're at the World Cup final? Okay.
Okay.
You get one penalty, last minute. Who on your team right now, would you trust to take the goal kick, the penalty kick? And who do you not trust?
On my like a professional or my
On, on
soccer
your
team?
on your team right now. You're
Oh my
you're
god. Okay. Okay. So all right,
in
hold on.
case they're
So
listening, they're gonna
oh, they're
know.
gonna listen. Okay, so all right, so you're telling me one person that is for sure, and then one
Mhm.
person that will not take it?
Yep.
Oh man.
At the World Cup final, last minute, you're like, hey, you gotta take it. And this guy like, no, you cannot take it. You're not that good at the World Cup.
Man, you put it on the spot. So, okay. All right. I gotta go with my golden boot.
Okay.
Jorge Hernandez. He has scored over like 60 goals in 4 years for me.
Wow. Okay.
He's yeah. And actually what's funny, in club soccer, he plays center back. Okay. But
Oh,
for
okay.
me, he plays the nine. He plays forward for me, and he scores goals for me. I don't know what it is. But yes, I would. In front of 100,000 fans, I would trust George Hernandez to take the penalty, um, for sure, and to win me a World Cup. Yes.
Okay, who would you not trust to take that penalty?
You know what? I think all my players would make that penalty. Um, that's how much confidence I have on my players. I don't think one player would miss because in our practice, get this, we
Hmm.
practice PKs about every Friday for 10 minutes.
Oh wow, okay, that's good. That's
And a lot of coaches don't do that, but I do that with like our system and like our work our season. Like if you tie a season game, you go straight to PKs. It's kind of weird. Um
during the
yeah, so that's why
season.
we yeah, so during the season, there's no overtime. So like there's no ties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very different. So like if we tie 5-5, you go straight to PKs. If you tie 0-0, you go straight to PKs. But in all our 32 game 31 32 games, we did not have a PKs
Oh
ever.
wow. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
kind of good still then.
Yeah. So I would just say all our players will make that PK. Just yeah. I'll leave it there.
That's all right. Well,
Okay.
thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. All right. I
Yes, sir.
really enjoyed this.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
It went by fast, so hopefully we do it again because I know there's a lot of stuff we didn't get to touch on.
Yeah, sorry. Are we still live? Or
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, please. I would love like a 2.0 or a 3.0. There's so much. I really want to go more in depth with my team and like how we practice, like, I really want to take you guys like on my day to day, from like
Hmm.
when we practice, when my kids come to school, when they eat. Like, I really wanted like to take like that like dynamic and like how I really develop players. Um, and my coach and with my coaches as well, like how they have helped me so much moving forward.
Right.
So I
Well,
really want to shout them out too.
yeah. Definitely. Like I said, maybe next time we'll do it again. Have you back on, talk a little bit
Yes, sir.
more. There's a lot of stuff
Awesome.
we didn't touch bases on, but thank you so much for coming, for doing
Yes,
this with
sir.
me. All right.
Cheers.
All right. That's it.